Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wrestling Man's Wrestling Show, episode number 125. I am your host, Bill Yankovi. This week is a special edition. This is the State of the Business episode, I guess. I will give my thoughts on the state of the business, on the promotions that I cover on this show, and I'll give you my opinions. And I'm sure some of you are going to agree and disagree, but that's entirely your opinion. So, real quick, a brief history of why I did this episode. About 2 years ago, the Dirty White Boy made a video on his opinion of the state of the business. This was back in about July of 2007. So I did a sort of a response episode, and I've been doing this one ever since. Now, I only do this once a year, and this is about the time that I do it. So, with that in mind, why don't I get to WWE? WWE, right now, they're still in a good spot. They're not as good as they were last year, although, pay-per-view wise this year, from the two I've seen, the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, and the reports that I've heard, they've had a lot of good pay-per-views this year, and that's a big thing. But there's still so much stuff that WWE could really improve on. The number one thing for me is the tag team division. That is number one. That is the one thing that the WWE should focus on more. Because when I was a kid, I remember from when I first watched wrestling, about 1990, 91, till about 2000, maybe 2002, the tag team division was such a big deal in the WWE. It was a huge deal. I mean, you could have 7 or 8 tag teams at one time, be considered top contenders for the tag team titles. Now today, tag team wrestling in general is an endangered species. Not only in WWE, but in most wrestling in general, which is really sad because the tag team division has been such a big, vital part of wrestling for years. And, with the news that Edge is out, he's going to be out for maybe a year with his torn Achilles tendon injury, heel injury. When they had the opportunity with Chris Jericho and Edge, to maybe have those two revitalize the tag team division, make it something special, make it mean something again, it falls on hard times, falls on, bad luck. So really, and with the Colognes now no longer a tag team, let's think about the only tag teams really that are in WWE. The Hart Dynasty, Crime Time, Rhodes and DiBiase. That's 3 tag teams. I really can't think of any other tag team combinations in the WWE except those 3. And that's really sad, like I said, considering the tag team division for a long time was a mainstay in the WWE. And, real quick, as far as making new stars, they're working on it. I mean, yeah, it's not the biggest time right now, but they are working on it in a way. MVP, see each and every week he's starting to become big. Hopefully he'll get out of that, mid-card status and become a main event player. Excuse me. Because he does have the ability to do that. Jack Swagger's another one. Evan Bourne's another one. And I'll tell you somebody who I think may do it, not because of his ability, but because of the fan reaction the last couple weeks. I think Mark Henry might get a main event push by WWE. Not saying he's going to be champion, but, he could be one of those people who, say Randy Orton is still champ and, he gets an opponent, one that they're sure not going to be champ. Mark Henry would be one of them. And, like I said last week, CM Punk's doing an awesome job as World Heavyweight Champion, and now with Edge out, he and Jericho, I think, are going to be the ones that carry SmackDown for the time that Edge is gone. And if Jericho and Punk don't do it, SmackDown's in big trouble. But All in all, I think WWE, they're on a good step right now in 2009. I really like the fact that they are world wrestling entertainment, not by staying in the U.S. and Canada. They're actually going all over the world. They were in Japan this week. They were in Australia last week. Mexico, Europe. So they're really doing their job. So right now, I think WWE's in a good position. They're not in a great position. They're not in a bad position. They're just right there in the middle. And hopefully, by the end of this year, we'll see a bunch of guys make a run for it, become major players. And I really hope WWE takes advantage of that. Alright, gonna take a break. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on Ring of Honor when I return.